Welcome to Dr. Jester Talks, and I'm gonna talk, yes, finally, something more positive and not me ranting about something. Well, maybe there's a little bit, a tiny little bit of ranting. But still, in consideration and in comparison, it's just mostly talks. Anyway, where was I? Right. Let me switch screens. There you go. Yeah. From Anyways, leans left. Finland belongs nuclear energy as sustainable source. Following a previously secret decision, the Finnish government will lobby the European Union to declare nuclear power as sustainable energy source. Congratulations! That's exactly what you have to do. Nuclear energy is sustainable. It's clean, it's safe, and it produces a lot of energy in comparison to the size required. Let me show it to you guys. Here is one example. This is for Hinkley Point. That means in the UK. So as you can see here, how much land is needed for wind and solar energy productions versus nuclear energy. This has been researched, they already shown. This is the Hinkley Point sea land area energy and output compared to other types of energy production sites. This is how much they need in acres for the nuclear power plant. This is how much you need for the solar farms. This is how much you need for the wind farms. And they actually do pose a problem for navigation and other things, including birds. But as you can actually see, here is the problem with wind energy, wind power. Example of fluctuation in wind power. Annual facility utilization, 20%, etc. This is time of day, power output. So basically, in a 24-hour period, for instance, in this case, in the 1 hour to 2 in the morning up until 5-ish, there was barely any wind, and then the wind died down, more or less around here at 5 o'clock in the evening, and then it picked up again. This is the problem with wind. You have a lot of wind, a lot of energy, and it's pumping out, and pumping out. And sometimes you produce so much energy that there's not much you can do but either to spend it, offload it to another country if they are willing to buy it at pennies per the power, or something else. Fine. But what happens when there is no wind, or very little wind? Exactly. You don't have power. Well, let's face it. You're gonna say, "Oh, why don't we store it in a battery?" Well, congratulations, you moron. Well done, you actually thought things through. Not really. Because for you to actually store that power in a battery, you'll need something about the size of a stadium or more. Just to store that, and the amount of lithium. That is, assuming you're using lithium, like the battery powers in your electric vehicle. That is, assuming that, otherwise you're using other systems. You're gonna have a major environmental impact just by extracting that. And what happens when you actually have to dispose of those batteries? Yes, a lot of pollution, a lot of destruction. So, but, well, with that one gone, so what happens when there is no wind? What happens when you don't have anything to offset that expenditure in energy? Do you cut the power? Yeah, that could be something, but in an industrialized world where you actually need computers, vehicles, factories and things like that pumping out, otherwise the country will go into misery, and it will happen exactly what happened with communist Russia and China right now, where they actually have power outages due to the coal. Well, this is what happens. This is, I verified this, it's some quite a while ago that I found it, I verified, but it's been a while, so don't ask me. Either way, France, here it is, France, the nuclear energy, how much they produce their energy, their country is nearly completely 100% nuclear, with very, very little indifference with wind, which I suspect it has something to do with retarded, retarded environmentalists. There's hydro, which is mostly touch-and-go system, and gas, mostly nuclear. Here, carbon intensity, that's how much in carbon they produce to generate energy. Let's take a peek at Germany. Very little nuclear, and what do they use to offset that time period when there is no wind? Or, if you are using solar panels, when it's during the nighttime or it's cloudy. You turn on those coal plants. Yes, you burn down forests so you can generate energy. As you can see here, lots and lots and lots of wind farms they have over there. Look at this. Fascinating, isn't it? Fucking fascinating. Don't you think this is problematic? Look at this. A lot of solar as well. And their nuclear power is using at peak output. So basically what you're doing here is, whenever you advocate for wind or solar energy, or solar farms, you're advocating for the German alternative. They're not very bright, are they? And especially considering that they came from those supposed bright people from those socialist days. Yeah, very retarded today. Anyway, then this is for if you are going to power the entire United States, this is how much land you're going to need to power that up with solar and wind farms. Wind farms area needed in pink. This is solar farm area needed. This is how much in area you're going to waste. The amount of environmental destruction that this is going to produce is astounding. It's off the charts. It's mind-boggling. And the extinction level of species that this will lead. Not only the maintenance costs and when everything goes down and you need replacement, where do you think you're going to put those blades of wind farms? Yes, you're actually going to bury them. You'll have to bury them. Exactly. Let's see if I can actually... no matter. Later on. Anyway, here it is. Another example. This is the total cost of various electricity generations operated in Germany. As you can see, they don't think things through. This is from the NEA externalities from OECD and EA reports. Either way, here it is how much production costs. Minimum, maximum. As you can see, there's even a cut over here to actually show you that it's off the charts. Photovoltaic. You know what photovoltaic means? Solar farms. Yes, those solar panels. External costs. Hydroelectric power. A lot of energy. Wind, surprisingly, less than hydroelectric and solar. But here we go, right at the bottom. Nuclear power. That's how much it will cost. That's why it's it's clean, renewable, good fucking energy. Sustainable energy. And you're gonna say, but what about the fuel rods? Well, those are not discarded that easily. They actually get recycled within the plant multiple times and multiple times before being discarded with almost completely inert material, who then gets buried. Completely safe. And yet, there are environmentalists who think this is bad. These people who understand energy as much as they understand their own bunghole, which is nothing. Anyway, Finland has 4 nuclear plants and the 5th is nearing completion after years of postponements because of technical complexities. The future of nuclear energy remains important for the country. Its industry is highly energy intensive, and Finland has a target of being carbon neutral in 2035. Currently, 30% of Finland's energy is produced by nuclear energy. See, here it is. Highly energy intensive. What will happen? What would happen if there's very little wind to power those wind farms? You're not going to generate enough power. It's something that many people have difficulty trying to grasp. I've had long-winded debates with environmental idiots who don't seem to understand that concept. They think that wind is a constant, that every single day is windy, and those little blades are going to keep spinning regardless of the quantity of the wind. They actually think that the small wind is enough to actually power everything. No, you morons. As reported by the Finnish broadcasting company, the government's alignment to lobby the nuclear as sustainable source marks a new U-turn within the Green Party since in the current 5-party cabinet. U-turn, okay. Traditionally, the party has been fiercely anti-nuclear and has resigned from previous governments over the issue. Its views have become more pragmatic, and the Greens now claim to have the technology neutral attitude when it comes to fighting climate change. It's true. And that is not the only thing going on. This is actually very good news. Well, unfortunately, I used to have another article open here, but I actually kind of lost it. But here it is from Substack. Michael Schellenberger. Nations go nuclear as prices spike and renewables fail. Which is exactly what I've been saying. National leaders around the world are announcing big plans to return to nuclear energy now that the cost of natural gas, coal and petroleum are spiking. Weather-dependent renewables are failing to deliver. Let's see if he mentions here. Suffice to say, here it is. Finland has joined France, Poland, Hungary, the Czech Republic in lobbying the European Union to categorize nuclear power as sustainable. And Britain, Britain also increasing or constructing nuclear power plants. Here, meanwhile, the British government is in talks with Westinghouse over whether to build a new nuclear plant in Wales, one which could provide power for over 6 million homes, and has pushed China out of having a stake in a different nuclear plant, Sizewell. Last year, former Extinction Rebellion spokesperson Zion Lights led a successful push to build Sizewell. See, this is important. It's important to go nuclear. All of these events have done as a shock even to pro-nuclear people. In 2015, pro-nuclear environmentalists Mark Lyons and George Monbiot called on the British government to cancel plans to build nuclear plants, claiming they were too expensive. Are you retarded? 1 year later, I co-hosted a meeting in London with a handful of pro-nuclear activists from across Europe. The overwhelming consensus was that we should focus on lobbying EU politicians in Brussels, not to trying to build grassroots movements, at least of all in Germany. It's absolutely important. Look, it's important to go nuclear. Nuclear power plants is our best solution we currently have. Suffice of increase in inventing a fusion reactor, which is something that not even in our lifetime we probably will be able to do that anytime soon. The closest thing we have is fission reactor, which is nuclear, which is the split of atoms. Fusion is to fuse atoms, and that requires a lot of energy. So anyway, short of that, we're fucked. So we need the nuclear. Anyway, if you like this type of content, stay right here at youtube.com/Jester. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell button if you want more of my beautiful love affairs. You obviously want that. Alright. Anyway, thank you for watching. In that bombshell, have a great fucking night.